Hi guys, so now we are going to start digging in to this Mk3 Skoda Fabia. First order of business, we are going to undo this top shock mount, this top mount here, and what we're going to do, we've got a leg in the car. I'm going to look at getting this leg on this front corner rolling again, and that tyre out of the sill. Now, I'm not going to have the track rod until tomorrow, so that's going to be a different case. I've got the inner, so I can look at that, but yeah, today's going to be replace the leg and start getting things where they need to be. Obviously this alloy is no good, so this will be going back on for now, just as a keep it mobile, keep it moving kind of thing, but we do have another one on order, so I'm going to crack into that. But this top cover, if you did want to know, in handy, the wipers covering the VIN there, but this bit just pulls out, and there is a top like mushroom cap just there, so that sits on there. So I believe that's a 21 and probably a 6mm Allen key. So I'm going to look at that, get it up in the air, and start getting this lower arm off and see what we can do. So our first order of business is done. Here's our leg from Reassembling. Like I say, this one looks absolutely fine. We'll compare shocks to the one that's on the vehicle, being the sport suspension. Obviously going to see things like this. Our ABS sensor has been cut, the brake line's been cut. That's alright, we're just going to take that caliper off, disappear that. Obviously we want the bottom arm. Bushes look okay, they look to be in decent condition. I do think this was off a low mileage car than mine currently. But first order of business, it's a 36mm 12 pointed thin wall socket. Wipe that on the impact gun. Yeah, got the drive shaft out of here. We do have another drive shaft. Reassembling sent it without the gearbox cup. I'm sure that's standard practice somewhere. The salvage rebuilds guys use them a lot, so that must be industry standard really. I'm not in the business of messing with CV boots though, so I have another drive shaft on order. All we're going to do, check compatibility is a drive shaft that comes off the car. I will test fit it into this hub. I've cleaned that out a bit. Make sure that's going to work with our wheel bearing, and that's all nice and it matches up to how it should be on that. I'm going to spin this over now, get this caliper off, obviously make it nice, a lot lighter, easy to work on, get the ABS sensor out, and look at this heat shield, look at whether that wants to come off or whether the one on the vehicle is usable, because this one's a bit bent up. So we'll make the best of the parts we've got. I don't want to touch this pinch bolt, I don't want to touch this shock. I am going to have to somehow get this drop link off as well. So first order of business, I'm going to strip this to the bits that I want, which is that I want the wheel bearing, because that side's had a knock. Don't really trust it, prefer one that hasn't had a knock. So we'll do that. Yeah, just strip this one down, make this one ready to go on, then we'll attack the car. So guys, we've now stripped this leg down. I've left this shield on for the time being. We will look at that one, but that's going to be a case of when that other one's off. So there was a clip here to hold in the brake hose, and Reassembling, the absolute geniuses that they are, and I mean that not in a sarcastic way, is they just chop this. So that means I was thinking I'll have to replace that sensor, but that sensor's already in there and good to go, ready for the new one to just plug straight in. So that's absolutely fantastic. That saved me a lot of messing about. Obviously they could have kept that, obviously I did buy the full leg, so that's good to go. Like I say, we'll probably swap this over, and yeah, we'll double check these springs match up the other one, the number of coils and such. But yeah, looks to be in good condition. I don't think it's coming out anywhere, so dust cover looks intact, all good. It'll look very nice after a wash. Top mount looks alright. So yeah, so we've got the brake hoses off. I have got that caliper, I'll probably list that on eBay. Absolutely nothing wrong with that, it's just I'm not touching the brakes on this car in terms of hydraulics, so while on the car it's absolutely fine. We are going to do this and pads though, all around. So guys, you join me back. Here we've split the carrier off from the car. Pop that over there. So it's a carrier original to the car. That is the caliper original to the car. I have left that pad on just because it is clipped in there. We've tied that up out the way using that drain port there. Obviously this is touching the caliper, but it shouldn't be there, so when this is out the way, that'll hang free unrestricted off the pardon me, that should hang free separate of the caliper itself. So now free to crack on. I can separate this hub knot, get that drive shaft unbolted, that kind of thing. Next thing I'm going to tackle is these drop links, and we have unplugged the sensor there, so our ABS cable is dangling there, and we'll also need to free that up as well, that track rod. So I'm going to do the drop link, I'm going to do the track rod, then I'm going to look at getting the bottom arm out. And there we have it, guys. I mean, I just sacrificially, there we go, bent that plate. Yeah, I'll probably end up doing the other one. I just can't seem to get that one off. Just been a bit lazy. Could stick bolts, longer Torx bits through there, but there's one on there. I'll just make sure that one's bent nicely. Yeah, so track rod's off. As you can see, that's bananaed, so that needs to go. Drive shaft needs to come out, bottom arm needs to come out. We'll look at loosening them off in a minute. And this top one up here, it's already loose, so we can look at that as well. So guys, we now have both bolts removed from the lower arm. Our lower arm that is nice and deformed, nicest way to put it. But yeah, so at 19mm bolts, that's the spec if you're on the 10.9s. I do believe this nut it's not quite a 17, don't think, which is too big. Yes, this one 18 seems to fit that quite nicely. So we've got an 18 there, two 19s. Your longer ones on the left if you're looking at the passenger side, your shorter one is with the nut, is on the right. So guys, we've now undone our top mount. We've got our cap here, looks absolutely fine, in okay condition. We've removed that. We've removed our bolts from the lower arm. I removed the shocker. The only thing now would be holding it in is the drive shaft. We've removed the nut, so I'm going to give this some taps with an hammer, start to move that drive shaft out the way, and then yeah, we'll look at taking this entire assembly out, just making sure there's nothing caught on it. So we're absolutely all good there. So guys, that's looking a little better now. We have that entire suspension leg out the way. Our caliper's nice. We're just going to tuck our ABS sensor there with it. That's nice and out the way. I've just got our anti-roll bar here. Next of order on the business, moving this drive shaft. Yeah, get to that, then start looking at this track rod, splitting that bent bit off, getting the inner out, sorting that. Luckily it's looking like that's reusable up there. Not too sure about a bit further on. I'm going to have to dig through the bay for that, I reckon. So yeah, I'm going to work on getting this drive shaft out, which is M8. So I'll start them off with the ratchet, and then I'll whiz them off there. Yeah, let's get that out next, crack on. And just like that guys, pretty much, well, we're nearly there. We have the drive shaft now removed, and now the boot did pop out up here. It doesn't look like there's a sealing ring on that, surprisingly, but that is now very stiff, so it should be nice and loose. Well, I say nice and loose, should have some movement in it. That one is now fixed in that position. I do suspect that the joint in there, from the angle, this is supposed to be flat by the way, from the angle that that's gone, I do think that that is buggered. Like I say, we do have the replacement piece here from Reclamet, this is a replacement shaft, but if that's gone, I'm concerned that the surface face in there, also for the bearings, might be compromised. So because of that, it just makes sense to just throw a new drive shaft on, or brand new second hand, as other popular YouTubers like to say. So yeah, luckily VW in their infinite wisdom closed, you see there, closed cut gearbox design, so we don't have to worry about that leaking of gearbox oil out whilst we attempt the rest of this. And there we have it, guys. We have everything removed off this front corner. We now have no drop link, no bottom arm, no drive shaft, no inner rack end or outer rack end. If you are stuck and you don't have the tool, mole grips, very universal. Yep, so looking at this looks alright. Again, this captive nut still looks like it lines up. This don't look like it's shifted anywhere or bent or anything. So what I'm going to do, so I'm going to get this gator off of here. I'm probably going to have to split this, which is going to be fun. But yeah, split that, get the boot off, so I can throw the new inner on, which we have here by Starline. You can throw that in, and yeah, roughly get that back nut set in the right position, ready for the rod end tomorrow. So yes, you can see my lovely legs in this one, but here we can see we've got the new rack end on. That is now tight in there. I'm quite happy with that. Yes, used mole grips. By the by, should be absolutely a-okay. You can see we just need to get the clip back on that side. We do have some clips coming, so we can get that on, but this one's back on. Like I said, I just threw this nut back on here, not with any real placement. Yeah, as I say in some of my shorts, if you're struggling, get an angle grinder or a recip saw, and to be honest, to get this boot off, that's exactly what I did. Instead of messing about trying to separate that mangled track rod end from this inner rod where it bent on the threads and bent the actual track rod end itself, I thought, no, we'll not have none of that, cut it, and then yeah, was able to get this off nice. So that boot's absolutely okay. I've had a look at that, that's good to go. Like I said, just want to clip on that back, probably reach from up here down through the engine bay to do that, rather than fiddling about in here. It's going to be a bit tight. So next order of business, I can hold that up out the way and it stays nicely. Getting this arm back in and the shocker back where it needs to be. And guys, just like that, we have on our new suspension leg. Now it's not super duper tight up top, but it's tight enough. I've got a new track rod in it. I just need the clip in there. We have our new bolts in for the lower arm there, and obviously our ball joints all connected there. I will need to separate the ball joint again to get the drive shaft in. Obviously got to wait for the drive shaft to arrive. On that now, I can put things like I can stick the drop link on, I can do the front brakes. I did just bend this back ever so slightly, so that's now a-okay. I'm happy with this bearing. The other one is noisy, which I'm not surprised given the wheel being in the condition it's in. That bearing's not happy, along with that drive shaft. I mean, this side did take one hell of a whack, but yeah, nice and happy with that. So this leg's in now. I can do things like get the carrier back on. Yeah, well, it might be worth actually be doing the brakes on this corner so I can get all that bolted back up. As if by magic, the Amazon gods have blessed us. So now we're going to move on to doing our drop link. Got that there. We now have a ratcheting caliper pushback tool. It's going to be perfect for pushing the piston back on that front caliper. And we also have our puller here. Now this is going to be perfect for pulling that out of there, because yeah, this is quite mangled. So I'm going to try and get that back as best we can. Do have this, the idea being we can unbend that and then give this a nice pull. You know, I'll do it with that wheel on because I don't care about that wheel. Yeah, and just try and get this kink out here. But yeah, so now I've got those bits. First thing I'm going to do, this spanking new tool, put a clip on that rack gator. And there we have it, just like that. We now have our brake caliper back on with brand new I-shirt discs and pads, and yeah, I have cleaned this off, obviously some parts cleaner, got a rough surface on this because that's a braking surface. Like I said, we are doing new discs and pads all the way around. Obviously being a salvage car, the brakes that were on the car didn't help the previous owner, whether it be the car's fault or not, doubt it was the car's fault, could probably something else in all honesty. But yeah, peace of mind for me. Like I said, I bent this lip back, that's all nice, it's not going to catch, and then yeah, this is all good, ready to go. Like I say, this is now on, they're now snug at the back, so yeah, all ready to rock and roll. On this corner, going to throw the wheel back on. Obviously there's no track on, so it does keep wanting to come in and out. I did consider, before I cut this apart, reusing this end, but unfortunately just how bent everything was, it's just always better to replace with new stuff. I mean, I don't know what that is, whether that's just a mark or what, but new, might as well go new, obviously this is brand new second hand, new, yeah. So all I'm going to do now with this one really is throw the wheel back on and yeah, start moving on to other bits. Probably take this bumper off, start splitting the splitter off of the bumper, that kind of thing. Yeah, cheers.